Okay, so it seems that today is almost ladies' night or ladies' day, right? It's only me and Daniel, but okay, it's good. Um, okay, so I already started recording. Yeah. So where is it? Oh, right here. Okay, I'll advise you if you're able to have pen and paper. Pen and paper. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we maybe can do something like that on Tuyas and also on the WhatsApp group. I don't know if. Oh, there you go, Rose. Um, okay, Rose is telling people on WhatsApp. Thank you, Rose. Thank you, Noel. Okay, let's see. Let's wait 2 minutes. Is it okay for you guys and gals? Just 2 minutes. Thank you. So, any special plans for this weekend? Do you have any special plans? Are you? I think it's spring break on the US. I think so, right? Or that's next week, or it was last week.
It's
It's
Easter.
spring break just varies from county to county in
Okay.
each state. So my girls already had spring break back in like March. So they're on Good Friday though today for Easter.
Okay, Easter. There you go. Oh yeah, with the eggs and everything, right? That's why Nohelo said about the egg. Yeah, here in Mexico we call it Semana Santa, Holy Week. And I'm in this town where it's like full of churches. I don't know, maybe we have like, I don't know, 50 churches here. And there's another place really close to here. It's like 40 minutes away. It's called Cholula. Cholula. This place has ancient pyramids and everything. And they have, in that place, they have 365 churches. But it's a little small place, and they have 365 churches because the Spaniards, when they came here, they wanted to, eradicate all the Mexicas culture. But it's weird because, like I was telling you, there's a pyramid, like a Mayan, a Mixtec pyramid, but beneath that pyramid there are two others. So it's funny because when the Spaniards came, they put a little church on top, but they never knew it was a pyramid beneath. Years went by, and then they discovered there's the little church, Cholula Church, on top, and then beneath the church, it's a pyramid, and beneath that pyramid there are two other pyramids. So it's really weird because that makes you think that I'm pretty sure that's an energetic spot, because how come many people it's building something in the same exact place? It's really weird.
Kind of like a spiritual fault line or something.
Excuse me?
I said something like a spiritual fault line.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, like a really high energetic, because when spring begins and winter ends, they call it equinox, right? So people go to that place and they do rituals. They dressed in white and they recharge with the energy. It's really mystic, really mystic. But okay, my friends. So let's begin. Oh, nice, Gretchen. Nice.
All right, so now we're jumping into lesson number 2, discipline, dopamine detox, and a new self-concept. This is so important because I never truly got to know get to know myself truly until I eliminated alcohol from my life for long periods of time. I never knew who I was. I couldn't gain control of the direction of my attention. I was hooked on instant gratification. The dopamine levels were just insane. And when I removed those things, when I went to prison, that is what I accredit a lot of my success to. Not only just the visualization and getting control of the exercises directly to get control of my attention and present moment awareness, but also eliminating things and noticing the things that I shouldn't be doing in the world. And that's what we're going to cover right now. All right, so this is the importance of discipline. Neville Goddard said, the 12 disciples represent the 12 qualities of mind which can be controlled and disciplined by man. If disciplined, they will at all times obey the command of the one who has disciplined them. When you get a controlled mind, a controlled, disciplined mind to where you can focus on one thing for long periods of time and be present and think from an event, you have control over the simulation. This is the symbolic nature of this, okay? So remember that. Shaping your new self-concept. Neville Goddard said, change your conception of yourself and you will automatically change the world in which you live. Do not try to change people. They are only messengers telling you who you are. Revalue yourself and they will confirm the change. And that's why I have found, because my grandfather told me this, when I had someone in my life that wasn't doing, they weren't treating me well. They weren't doing the things that I wanted them to do, but that was what I was creating. So I asked him, what do I do? And he said, you do nothing. You change who you are. And that's what I started to do. I started to become a better person. I started to just do things differently within my new concept of self. This person noticed that, started emulating what I was doing within the simulation, completely transformed the person. So as you change your concept of yourself, everything in your world begins to change, and you'll start to see that from the inside out. All right, here is your exercise that's going to change your whole life, okay? This is going to change your whole life. Exercise. Do a dopamine detox to start a new disciplined self-concept. So you're beginning the course. This is what you need to do to see real changes in your life. And this is something that I had to experience when I went to prison. All of these things, okay? Getting away from social media, deleting social media and Netflix, and anything that's similar to Netflix as well. Avoid junk food, sugar, alcohol, drugs, pornography, and music, unless it's like instrumental, okay? You want to avoid this. You might be able to go back to music later on. Once you develop your mind correctly, you can kind of do this stuff in moderation. Not drugs, not alcohol, not porn, but most of it you can kind of go back to in moderation. Like, a little bit of Netflix here and there is fine. Once you find your purpose and once you create the version of yourself, but for now you have to eliminate all this stuff. I'm not saying you can never do all this stuff ever again. I'm just saying for now we have to solidify your attention. We have to develop the muscle of your mind. We have to get you present. We have to get your power back. And this is the stuff that's robbed you. So eliminate this stuff from your life. Engage in physical activity every single day. Wake up in the morning, do 100 squats. Go to the gym every single day, whether that's just for cardiovascular conditioning, whether it's strength training, whether it's CrossFit, jump rope, doing burpees. Even if you can't go to the gym, you have a 24-hour gym in your own house or your own apartment or wherever you are. When I was in prison, I had a 24-hour gym. There's a piece of concrete. There's a slab of concrete on the ground with an area big enough for me to do push-ups. That's a gym. And so you don't have any excuses. There's a gym, a 24-hour gym everywhere you look. If there's a place for you to do push-ups or squats, there you go. That's your gym. All right. So practice mindfulness. Be very present throughout the day. And we're going to get into these courses that are also going to help. This is part of the course. Okay. We're going to get further into that. And also spend time outdoors. Get in the sunlight, for a little bit every day. Walk in the grass barefoot. Do different things like that. Get outside. Be more communal with your world, okay? And there's a PDF attached in the description that's also going to assist you with this, okay?
Okay, that was fast. That was quick. Okay, we have 2 other videos that I have already set. Does anyone have a question?
I don't have a question, but I had a thought that popped up when he was talking about discipline. And that thought was around the idea of Jesus having disciples. And I know it's not necessarily the same word, but when the idea of like discipline and like it used to be for me, it would be like, I got to drive myself real hard and I got to like be my own whip, right? But like I've softened the idea of discipline is not necessarily that. It's more of like, okay, I made a mistake in this area and how can I change that in myself and have the discipline, but also the love and the kindness towards myself, like a good friend of mine would have towards me. Like Jesus would be, you know, like, hey, to the disciple, like, don't do that again. Here's a better option for you. But he's very kind and loving and not driving people with the rod or this, you know, he's not beating people up. Anyways, that was just my thought.
Okay,
So.
that's interesting. Thank you. Really, really interesting. Sometimes we look at discipline as something hard, something that we have to force. But something that I've learned, and also something that David always says, is that once you are switching between your old self concept and your new self concept, then all the activities that you have to do, you know, that they can look as discipline, they're going to be easy, simple, because that's your nature. So once I understood that, I'm really right now focusing on becoming that person, on being that person, on doing what this person, the person that has this certain amount of money every single month, the person that is living in this villa, what is this person doing? Because it wasn't doing the same thing that I was doing on, you know, on December. So I think that that's similar as you were saying, Rose, because that's a loving part, you know. We're not whipping ourselves. We're just being in love to ourselves, to this new self-concept, and we are doing the change, the discipline from love, not from you know, to be like tough or rough with us. All right, let's proceed. Somebody wants to add something? Okay, let's proceed.
In this video, I'm going to teach you how to change your concept of yourself, how to shift your identity without having to visualize or affirm or script anything. And I used to use this before because I didn't have well-developed attention. So I started using this way back, and it really changed a lot of things in my world. It changed my concept and it shifted my identity, but I was doing it manually in the three-dimensional world. So you can do this every single day and it will develop you, but it's going to be a little bit difficult. It can be a little bit difficult in the physical world, in the simulation. You're going to have to train the simulation to do what you want it to do. And you get this result by keeping your promises to yourself. And I'm going to give you an exercise on this. And I used to do this, and I started to do it again because it really just makes me feel good. And it really is keeping my promises to myself. And everything that I set out that I'm going to do, I make sure that I'm going to do them. And I do them. At all costs, they are must-dos. And if you can do this, you can create whatever you want to come to you. Anything that you want. So essentially, all you have to do is get a piece of paper and a pen. Before you go to sleep at night, you can start this tonight. Okay, I want you to write down things that you need to do to accomplish your goal. Okay, so for example, if it were to get a new physique, there's certain things that you can create if you just take the steps and make sure through discipline and consistency that you're going to do them. You absolutely have to do these things. Everything you write down, you have to set this intention. You got to set the intention that you are absolutely going to take all of these steps. Okay, you're going to do everything that you write down. So for example, if it's going to be you want the physique of your dreams. Okay, this is just one example. You can do this with anything. Okay, because if you take this proper steps with anything, you will do. If you want to have a great physique, you want a shredded physique, you want to look great, all you have to do is follow your diet and have a consistent workout routine and be consistent and disciplined and make sure that you're hitting on this, and you're going to get it. You're going to get it no matter what you do. If you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a doctor. If you follow all of the steps, you will become them. You will do them. And you can manipulate the simulation this way. This is a very simple way, but it takes some discipline, but it's also developing your character. It's also leveling you up in the simulation. It's shifting your identity. So when you're writing these things down about your physique, I'm not going to eat these types of foods anymore. I'm going to eat 100 grams of carbohydrates, and that's it. And this is how much protein I'm going to eat, and this is how much vegetables I'm going to eat. All these things. I'm not going to eat this anymore. And you're writing these things down with the intention to absolutely follow this to the T. You have to do this, and you're going to work out for an hour and a half, and you're going to do all these things, and you do this every single night, or you can write them out for the entire week, but they have to be daily, like a chart where you have to do certain things every single day. And if you follow this and you hold on and you to your promises, you actually, everything that you write down, you say that you're going to do, you have to do those things. And when you start doing this, you will reach every single goal, and you will love yourself. You will have a very high frequency, because you're a person, you're a concept of yourself that does everything that you set out to do. Even if doesn't turn out exactly the way that you want it to right at that moment, and it's difficult, you still do it. You're not giving up. You're absolutely keeping every promise that you tell yourself you're going to do. And when you do this, you change your identity. You're shifting your identity. So as you do this every single day, even the first day you start doing it, you're changing your concept of yourself, and you're leading up to when you are going to impress the subconscious mind at night. Okay? So, and as you do that, your world starts to shift, and then you do it again. And then you're writing everything down again, and then you accomplish all of those things again, and then you go to sleep again, and you write them down again. And then eventually you impress the subconscious mind with this new identity, with this new concept of self that you are now. You have now become someone that keeps all of their promises to themselves. Everything you say you're going to do, you do it. Everything. You don't miss. And if you don't miss, you will achieve anything that you want. You will achieve any desire. You will accomplish anything. And after you do this just for a short time, what you'll find is you'll be in the frequency or the like frequency of magical things happening to you. Because now you love yourself. You feel that you deserve the greatest things on earth in the simulation. You feel that you deserve these things. So then you're drawing and you're attracting all these new things to come to you, because you keep your promises to yourself. You do everything that you're supposed to do. You hold on. You have that concept of yourself, of greatness. And now you can hold your head high. And now you are so confident, and the subconscious mind feels this new version of you. It's like, who is this new version? This person does everything they're supposed to do. Everything they say they're going to do, they do it. So now the floodgates are open. That all these doors are opening, because the subconscious mind says, okay, give it to him. Give him everything, okay? Because he can handle it. This person, him or she can handle it, can do anything that we give them. They're going to keep their promises. They're going to provide value and service to the world if you give it to them. They're going to expand and expound on everything that they come in contact with, because this is that version of them where they can accomplish anything they set their mind to, because they don't miss. They don't miss any days. Everything they write down, they do it. And I promise you, if you do this, if you wanted to skip the whole visualization, skip the affirmations, skip all those things, if you just do this one thing, and you have certain things, you have things that you desire that you want to do, and you know the steps, you know what you need to do, make sure that you do them every single day and write them down and say, and you have to hold on to that, never miss, and you will accomplish them. You just have to do them. It's all up to you. Nothing can stop you but you. That's it. You're the only person that could stop you from being a multimillionaire, or having the physique of your dreams, or having your dream car, your dream house. All of these things. You can accomplish all of these things. Even if you're working in like a 9-to-5 job, and you can get a promotion by doing this. You can be running the company by doing these certain steps, by just writing down a list of things where you can over accomplish in your current position and do everything better than everyone else. And you're writing all this down and you're doing it and you're not missing. You're accomplishing all these extra things, doing all of these things right, showing up early, staying late, doing all these different things, making yourself better than everyone else, because most people can't do this. They can't, they miss. Most 99% of people, they miss, okay? They can't do things. They can't write down things and then do them every single day, but you are not 99%. You're the 1%. And everything you write down, you're going to do. So you're going to pass them by. You're going to speed right by them. And you're going to take their position. You're going to do this better than them. And if you even look at it, YouTube, if you're trying to create a YouTube channel, show me one YouTube channel that hasn't been successful when they posted a video every single day for 2 years. Show me one channel that wasn't successful. Anyone that posts a video every single day and doesn't miss for a certain amount of time, they're going to be successful. They're going to grow that brand. Or show me one person that's consistently dieting correctly and consistently working out every single day after a year or two and they're not in good shape. Show me one person, which you cannot do. You cannot do it, because if you follow your diet, you say, I'm not going to eat this, I'm not going to eat this, I'm going to eat this, I'm going to eat this, and I'm going to work out for an hour and a half today, and you do it every single day. You do that, you do that, you do that for a year. And that person is going to be in great shape, and you cannot change it. That's just the way it is. If you don't miss, no matter what you're doing, you are going to find success and you're going to get it, but you cannot miss. You have to make the decision to do it. And this is something that I found out while I was in prison. And this is when I completely broke off all of my bad habits by doing this, like the drinking, and the instant gratification and all these things, wasting all this time. I made the decision to get all of these things out of my life. I made that decision and I never missed. I was ready. I was prepared. I got out. I wanted to create a YouTube channel. I wanted to grow a business. I wanted to grow multiple businesses. So I knew what I needed to do. Start posting videos, start networking, start learning about business, start developing myself, and all the different steps I wanted to take along with my physique. Dieting. I'm going to work out for this amount of time every single day. I do not miss. Okay. All of these things, I accomplished every single one of them. I've only been out of prison for 2.5 years. That's it. 2.5 years. I've already built this brand and this YouTube channel and my businesses in this short amount of time. And I haven't even touched on what I'm able to do in the future. I haven't even really touched the surface, scratched the surface. The things that I can create are so much bigger than the things I've done so far. I haven't really even tried yet. This is like me on autopilot, because I've developed this facility, impressing the subconscious mind with this new identity. And I also use visualization. I see the end. I figure out what I want and I see it and I rehearse it in my mind as I'm falling asleep with the intention to succeed. And then I know every step that I need to take to accomplish it, and I can see the end in my imagination, and I'm impressing the subconscious mind. So then it's basically like autopilot. You can create whatever you want. Learn how to visualize. And if you don't want to visualize, you don't want to affirm, you don't want to use the law of attraction, the law of assumption, you can just do this and it'll work. Just keep all of your promises to yourself. Write down what you want to do. What are the steps that you need to take in order to accomplish your goal? What is it? What's the first thing you need to do? And then write it down and then do it, and don't miss, and you will get it. It's really that simple, but it's discipline. 99% of people, they're going to miss. I don't miss. They're going to miss. You're not going to miss. So just run this through your mind. Run it through your mind. What do you want to accomplish? What's the first step you need to take? Write that down the night before. Write it down tonight. And then tomorrow you're going to do it. Write down 10 things. But make sure that you've accomplished all 10 things. These are, I can't stress this enough, everything that you write down. Be very careful of what you write down, because you have to do that. There's not, I should do this. You have to do it. And you're going to keep that promise to yourself. And you're not going to let yourself down anymore. You're going to raise your frequency up. You're going to learn to love yourself because you're keeping your promises to yourself. You'll learn to love yourself, and then the subconscious mind can feel that love that you have for yourself. And then it's going to open up all these doors, and magical things are going to happen to you because you love yourself. And that's the highest frequency you can be on. That's what it is, okay? You keep your promises to yourself. Write down things that you're going to do. If you say you're going to do something, make sure that you do it. Make sure that you do it. The subconscious mind is going to feel that, and it's going to love you right back, okay? It's going to show you love because you are going to mirror that love. It's a mirror. When you're in that frequency of love, that's what you're attracting. And you can also use this if you are visualizing. And I do think that you should be visualizing as well as doing this, okay? Because then you're hitting it at both angles. You know, you're hitting it at all sides, okay? You're impressing the subconscious mind, you're visualizing, you have the intention to succeed, and then you're writing out your goals and everything, all the steps that you need to take in order to get it. I do realize there are magical things that you can manifest, and visualization, falling asleep as if you already have it, it will draw it to you. Certain things where you can't take steps in order to get it, but you can change things like this, okay? But remember, you only get who you are. You don't get what you want. So you're changing your identity, and this is the way to do that. You're changing who you are. So when you're visualizing, you're not thinking, you know, of the things that you want. You're thinking from them. You are already the person that possesses what you want, whether that's a relationship, a mansion, or, an exotic sports car, whatever it may be. You are that person now. You're feeling it now, and then you're taking the steps. You're taking the steps, and you're keeping your promises to yourself. So just try this out for, say, a week. Just keep all of your promises for a week and tell me how you feel. You're going to feel tremendous. Like your feeling states are going to change completely. Just if you've been wanting to work out, you've been wanting to change your diet, you've been wanting to take certain steps, but you just haven't been able to do them, make the decision tonight. Write those things down and do them tomorrow. And keep doing these steps for 1 week. And you're going to raise your frequency, your feeling states, and you're going to draw great things into your life simply by doing that. And I want to know your results because I already know them. I already know what's going to happen. You're going to feel tremendous. You're going to feel like an entirely different person. And just like we went over, you don't get what you want. You get who you are. And now, within a week, you're going to feel like you're a different person. You're going to truly love yourself because you're keeping all of your promises to yourself. All right, guys, I love you, and I'll see you in the next video.
Nice. Thank you, Terence. Yeah, Terence says the stuff David is teaching, I was taught in a group I was a member of in the 80s. This stuff works if you actually do it.
Yeah,
It does
that is
work.
true. We were twinned up when we used to do courses. We were twinned up with somebody else, so two of us worked together. And if you turned up on course and your twin didn't turn up, you had to go out and find them and see where they were and bring them on course. Wherever they were, you had to go out and see where they were and find them. We had no phones or internet or anything like that in the 80s, and we had to go out and find them. Go around their place, knock on the door to see where they were and fetch them back on course and get them back on course.
Now we can send them text, right?
Yeah, but I said then, you have to do the donkey work. You have to do the donkey work and get out and find them,
Yeah. Yeah, nice. I'm on yesterday's live, David's live, he was talking about when we get this, when we start getting this old self-concept, when the old self-concept is creeping back, he was talking about his experience and what happened to him, and well, most of you were there, or maybe you watched the replay. I shared a meditation, a quote from Marcus Aurelius, and it's really funny because when I started to learn about Stoicism and the Stoics and everything, and then I started to read the oh my God, I forgot the name, the Kybalion. I realized that everything is the same subject. Everything is the same. So this is not new. This is like really, really ancient. And Marcus Aurelius used to talk about the same things, but in more poetical, philosophical way. And the Kybalion also talks about it in their, I think it's only 4 steps on the Kybalion. I remember. Well, I think it's 7 steps. I don't remember, but it's just some steps. And it's all the same, my friends. It's all the same. And as Rose was saying earlier on the WhatsApp group, that she's a scientist, and for her it was easier to learn from to understand this knowledge from Dispensa, because he's a doctor. So he can explain this kind of behavior things, quantum and everything, the quantum world, from a scientific evidence. So it's really nice, because now we're open to understand this kind of knowledge, and if we go really deep into it, we can get really good results. Thank you, Terence, for sharing that.
Yeah, that's
So-
okay, mate, no problem. Welcome.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Love that. Somebody else wants to share something before we go to the next video? All right. I'm gonna add a little bit speed. There
He
you go.
cracked the code of reality and became a billionaire simply by doing this one thing. Any idea that is held in the mind, that is emphasized, that is either feared or revered, will begin at once to clothe itself in the most convenient and appropriate form available. Andrew Carnegie became a billionaire. He went from $1 to $309 billion simply by doing this one thing, by developing his level of concentration and attention on one thing for 5 minutes without allowing any other thoughts to come in. And as he was gaining his wealth, he was even interrogated by the government, and they were wondering if he was doing some sort of malpractice with his business. But they soon discovered that everything was legit within his business. And they went and asked him, and they said, Andrew, how are you doing this? How are you creating this much money? And he said exactly this. Most people can't hold their attention on one thing for more than a few seconds because the mind is like a butterfly. The thoughts are always flying around everywhere. But if you can train your mind to concentrate on one thing for 5 minutes without allowing any other thoughts to come in, and learn to control the muscle of your mind and develop it and hold on to a feeling state, you will manifest and create anything you want to come into your life. Because if you want to successfully change your concept of yourself, successfully shift your identity, you must have a well-sustained attention on the object, which is changing your concept of yourself, because prayer is the art of believing. Pray as if you already have something, and then you will have it. But how well of a controlled attention do you have on the feeling that you already have these things? And this is the secret to what Neville Goddard was talking about when he said this right here. The great secret is a controlled imagination and a well-sustained attention, firmly and repeatedly focused on the object to be accomplished. So the trick and the secret is to master the development of your controlled attention on your feeling of the wish fulfilled. So how well of a sustained attention do you have? How well can you hold on to your feeling states? And this is a lot of the issues that people have when they're trying to manifest, because they start to manifest something, they start to work on something with affirmations, scripting, or visualization. Then all of a sudden something happens in their three-dimensional world and they start reacting to that. They lose focus of the wish fulfilled. They cannot detach from these things that are happening to them. Their mind cannot focus long enough on the feeling of the wish fulfilled until it comes into your reality. So this is the trick. This is the art of believing. Prayer, the art of believing, is holding your attention on your wish fulfilled. So I'm going to give you an exercise and a technique to see where you are with your level of attention, because once you develop this one skill, you're going to be able to create and manifest anything you want to come into your life. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to sit down in a chair or lay down on a bed or get comfortable somewhere where you can relax for a minute. I want you to close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and I want you to imagine I want you to use your imagination here, and you're going to visualize. You're going to close your eyes and you're going to imagine a $100 bill or whatever native currency you have or wherever you're living, whatever the equivalent to that would be, the $100 bill. I want you to count out stacks of $100 bill on a table in front of you in your imagination. And I want you to count to $10,000 or euros or whatever your native currency is. So what you do is you're holding the $100 bill. I want you to look at it front to back, study it. You know what it looks like in your imagination. If you don't, go get one first and take a look at it, or go look one up online and take a really good look at what the front and the back of the bill look like. Memorize that in your imagination. Hold your attention on the $100 bill. What does it look like? Focus your attention. How well can you be specific and detailed with the outlines of that $100 bill? Now you're going to count that $100 bill. 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 1,000. And I want you to count 10 stacks, $10,000 in your imagination. I want to see, because this is going to excite you. This is going to be an easy exercise, because this is not just counting some random thing that you don't desire. Everyone desires another $10,000 into their life. So when you're imagining this, you are actually creating this to come into your life as well, because whatever you imagine is going to come into your life. If you're in alpha state, you drift into alpha and then theta and fall asleep doing this, you're going to create money to come into your life. Cash is just going to come into your life. All of a sudden, you're going to start seeing $100 bills. People are going to start giving you money. They're going to start giving you jobs. You're going to have more money come into your life. So there's two sides of this that are beneficial to you. You're going to gain your ability to focus your attention on one thing, and you're also going to have lots of great things come into your life. So if you've never done this before, start today. It's just like climbing the ladder. Okay, what Neville Goddard taught my grandfather in the back of the Wilshire E-Bell Theater. You climb a ladder, you climb up and down a ladder to sleep at night, and you're going to do it. Something's going to happen in your world, because whatever you fall asleep doing is going to happen. And once you develop the level of your attention to where you can actually fall asleep doing something, holding your attention on it, it's going to happen to you. So I'm going to train you on counting $100 bills in your imagination. And as you start to do this, you can start to tell where your attention is and how much more work you need to do. Because if you're right in the middle of counting the first stack and all of a sudden you're thinking about what happened on Wednesday, or you start thinking about what you have to do tomorrow, or this person did this to you, or you have this going on, so then you have to bring your mind back. You keep pulling your mind back, because the mind and the thoughts are like a butterfly. They're going to be flying around everywhere. You're going to have to keep bringing it back, and making sure that you're holding your attention on the $100 bill and counting that 1, 2, and you're looking at the bills, you're feeling it. You're collecting the feeling of the ownership of the money. This is your money now. You're counting it and you're thinking from it. You're not thinking of it. This is you counting your money in the 3-dimensional world in your imagination. So feel each bill, because this is your money. In the present moment, you're making the future now and counting out your money in your imagination. How well can you focus your attention on this? So this is a very powerful exercise that's going to develop your attention, and it's also going to bring some very magical things to come into your life. And I've also used this technique, and I've posted many testimonials on this, and I've had hundreds of different testimonials where people that have done this successfully and had just magical things come into their life, where money just came to them, $100 bills just started coming to them. They're seeing $100 bills everywhere. They're getting jobs. They're getting promotions. They're running their own businesses. All of a sudden, they got all these new clients. You know, even when I used this technique myself, the first time, I didn't have success when I first started counting money, because I didn't feel the ownership of it. But when I went back, I actually ended up counting someone else's money. When I counted out the $10,000 and I fell asleep with it, I went into a bank and someone asked me to count out their money, and it was $9,800 in cash. And as I'm counting it, I remember back to my imaginal scene, and I said, I was doing this in my imagination. Somebody had asked me to count their money, but I'm like, okay, so what did I do wrong? I got to go back to the drawing board, because I didn't collect the ownership of the money. I was just counting it. So you want to make sure that you collected the ownership of it. But when I went back into it, studied it, then I started counting the money in my own residence, my own home, and my own table. So then I looked around in my imagination and I saw that I was in my house when I was counting money. So the money had to be mine at that point. And that's what created the ownership of it. And also just practicing and developing my level of attention, you know, and counting this money. But eventually I got a job where I got paid in cash exactly $10,000. And it was actually a counter offer that was actually exactly $10,000 that I counted out. But if you want the full video, you can go back in my videos. I have so many testimonials on using these techniques and counting money, just imagining, visualizing, affirming, asking myself questions. You can go back through my channel and you can see all my testimonials. I talk about pretty much all of my testimonials. There's some that I haven't talked about yet, but I will get into those and more to come in the future. But in this video, it's not about me. It's about you. It's about you developing your level of attention. How well and sustained of an attention do you have on one thing for long periods of time? And you're going to be counting money while you're doing this. So you're going to get both sides. So let's see where you're at. Start doing this. I'm also going to put a card on the screen to a guided meditation where I can assist you in walking through the steps of counting to $100 bills all the way up to 100,000. It's going to assist you when you first start, and and it really can create a feeling state. But I really want you to also practice doing this on your own, maybe just listening to theta waves or just doing it all by yourself. But if you need help at first counting the $100 bills, I'm going to put a card up on the screen. It's a free guided meditation that you can click on, download that, and use that to develop this skill. But I want you to see where you are with your developed attention. And it's going to tell you a lot of things about yourself and where you are in life. And as you develop this skill, you're going to see yourself start climbing the ladder. You're going to start climbing the ladder, getting more successful the more you develop your attention on one thing. And you can do it for 5, 10, 20 minutes at one time without allowing any distractions. And then you're really going to see some great things start coming into your life, especially when you start implementing feeling states and start really getting into the feeling that you already have things, the wish fulfilled, just like Neville Goddard stated right here. When you attain the control of the internal direction of your attention, you will no longer stand in shallow water, but will launch out into the deep of life. So now I'm going to put the card on the screen to the guided meditation to help you with counting the $100 bills with this exercise. But we're also going to do further exercises on this. So make sure that you stay tuned, subscribe, like this video, and make sure you have your notifications on. That way you get notified of the further exercises that we're going to do to get you to that next level. I love you all. And don't forget to give me one thing you are grateful in the comment box below. And I will see you in the next one.
Welcome back, Rose. Nice. This really nice, really important. I have a quiz. I have a quiz for you prepared. Do you want me to jump into it and then we start the conversation, or somebody wants to? Well, if somebody wants to share something, maybe while you were listening to this, then you felt yourself enlightening with something.
I'll share something. I posted in the group, I just found it from February 2025, that I was doing this, going to sleep, counting this, and I wasn't feeling it. So I went on Amazon and I bought the really realistic $100 bills. So I put them on my kitchen table and I was counting them, putting them in a bag. And it still didn't work. And I'm reading here that I did it for 3 weeks and I gave up. But then somebody posted on one of David's videos, they did it for 2 months and then everything started to flow to them. I think it's because of my self-concept back then that I was just starting. You know, you really need to believe it. If you don't believe you deserve it or you can have it, then you could listen to all the things in the world and it's not going to come to you.
Yeah. Same thing happened to me with the leaf exercise, because I wasn't able to count more than 5 leaves. But I kept doing it, kept doing it. At the beginning, when we started when I joined the community back in 2014, at the end of May, David and the admins back then, I don't know, guys, if you remember that we used to have these lives, David's lives plus some admins' lives. Well, they were teaching us and telling us to do things. And I remember that we used to have some lives on Sunday mornings. Well, mornings for me. Anyway, and I was telling them that when I was visualizing, I was looking at everything, and it was like, yeah, I could see an image, but it was kind of dark, I wasn't able to put that much color. And I was feeling so frustrated because David was saying, I was asking David on the lives, hey, my visualizations had to be like clear, like really vivid, and he was saying all confident, just the way as he is. He was like, yeah, it has to be clear. I was like, damn, I was feeling so frustrated because I wasn't able. And then I realized that it takes time. Everything takes time, because I was coming from somewhere that I wasn't actually meditating. Well, I was meditating, but I wasn't like really visualizing. and it's a muscle. So in your case, Gretchen, I think it was the same. You weren't able to do it because it's like going to the gym. You're not expecting the first month, if it's the first time that you are hitting the gym, you're not expecting to see all huge and muscles, not in the first month. Well, maybe for yourself you can see, okay, I'm seeing changes, but it's hard for other people to actually notice it. So it takes time. That's why David always talks about the model of the mind. So we have to find out, okay, things are not happening in my life. Why? Because maybe I have to do more leaf exercise, reverse, gratitude, or maybe I have to stop engaging to the 3D because, yesterday I had a situation here with the family, well, with my wife, and we're okay. And then she got frustrated with something. And sometimes I get so emotional with when my family is feeling down or emotional because I want to take care of them. I want to fix the issue. And I was feeling, I don't know, like angry or with anxiety or something like that. Then I said, okay, chill out, James, because yeah, she's feeling that way because something she's going through, and it's not like a real thing. She just got cut off with, she was doing, I think she was preparing some food, and then she got frustrated because something didn't go the way she wanted to go. And um, I'm pretty sure Jorge is gonna get me on this with Latin wives and Latin women. They are so passionate about preparing food and everything. I don't know why. I don't know if in other parts of the world it's the same, but at least in Latin America, they're like crazy about it. But anyway, and I said to myself, okay, James, you can't fix anything. Plus, we had an awesome day. I was working. I had I went to see some clients, and things are going really well. So I don't have to engage. But James from the past used to engage with every single little thing that the 3D used to send me. So I think that was my old concept telling me, like testing me, and that was something that David said in the last video. Sometimes the reality, the 3D, is going to test you, and it's funny. So appreciate you, Gretchen, for sharing this.
Thank you.
All right. Somebody else wants to share something, my friends?
I'll share real quick.
Thank
So
you.
I've been learning, it's the same ideas, the same concepts, but different words to use for them. But I've been learning about reality transurfing, and again, because this is my second time through it. It's been years, but kind of like what you're describing to me seems like something that they call a pendulum, or like another term for it is eargores. I don't know if y'all have ever heard those terms or not, but like
Yes.
like energy or thought forms that have like kind of like a life on their own, and then we can get sucked up into it and we give our energy away, is kind of what they are. It's pretty fascinating. And so it's kind of like the idea of like self-concept, right? We get stuck in that thought form of the old self, right? And so how do we take that energy that we're feeding it and direct that that energy to a new lifeline that we want to go to, is kind of how I see it. I know I would describe it as. And like how how do you stop feeding into that pendulum or that egregore, and choose a different one that's more positive for your, or quote unquote positive for your life, I guess.
Yes, Rose. Yes, you're totally right. And yeah, I don't know how. I think it's Greek word. I'm not so sure, but egregore, I don't know, and the pendulum. Yeah. Funny thing regarding the egregores or egregores, is that it supposedly this is something that it can get its own conscious. Like it's like like a spiritual thing. It's something that it can get its own conscious. So it's really creepy because when you think about it, if you keep on doing, things that you are not supposed to do, maybe I don't know. On May last year, June, I shared with the community. I don't know if somebody remembers. I don't know. I shared that I used to welcome Roger. Welcome.
Hey man, yep. Sorry, I just got off of a business call, so I was like, I gotta jump. I've been missing. I need to jump in. So sorry to interrupt.
Nice. Congratulations. You have to tell me how the Monday sales meeting went. You have to tell me, but well. It's really creepy because we're talking about pendulums and egregores and things like that. And Rose was telling us because we were talking about bad habits. And I don't know if you guys remember that I shared a long time ago, I think around May, something like that, a personal experience where a long time ago I was engaged with, I was involved, not engaged, I was involved with some criminals, with some bad people. They weren't doing good things, and I was, I wasn't their friend, but I was with them, Plus, I was back in those days, I was consuming some substances. I was consuming cocaine, crack, things like that. And, I was a guy, my family used to take care of me back in those days. I was in at the beginning of college. And these guys took advantage of myself in the way that, like, I had a car, so they were like, okay, let's do to this party and everything, and they were going to these parties and they were like stealing people's properties and things like that. And they were like, okay, let's go to this kind of 7-Eleven. Well, we have 7-Eleven here, but there was another store similar to 7-Eleven. They were like, oh yeah, James, just park outside and we're gonna get, some drinks and everything. And then when I realized they were jumping inside the car and, hey, just put all your foot on the accelerator, because they have just robbed the store. And that was really fucked up, because I wasn't actually doing it, but I was with them, and then it was really crazy, really crazy. What I realized is that sometimes when you are in those intense emotional, high adrenaline moments, when I left that life, when I decided to join a rehabilitation place, just like David, but it wasn't as fancy as David's, it wasn't as fancy, but it was a good one. They took really good care of us, because here in Mexico you can find these rehab places, but if you go to that places, they beat you up. They beat the shit out of you just to, I don't know, it's a really messed up method. But in this place, they took good care of you. So I realized that even though when you leave this bad concept, there's this ergo, and if the ergo is becoming conscious, oh my God, that's an entity, and that entity it's asking you to pay your dues, and sometimes it's taking you, creeping you, sending you to, to act, to behave, because the pendulum or the ergo, it wants your energy. And I really think it's something a little bit scary, because if I'm thinking about, okay, I was doing all these bad things, and then because of that, I was able to create an entity, a conscious evil entity that now wants my energy. So that's creepy. That's really creepy, but it makes sense, because if you're doing bad things, then something is going to come out of this. But well, yeah, I think it's creepy, the ergos and the pendulums, but they might be real. I don't know. They might be real. Actually, I think they're real, because I was talking to a friend that he's like, how do you say this? Like, shamanic. He was telling me that even though you can find those ergos on all buildings, on churches, on government buildings and things like that, because all the energy, bad feelings or good feelings and everything, and they're, getting all these food, they're getting fed by us. But anyway, if somebody wants to share something, Roger, you want to say something?
Yeah, you're right. It's definitely real, and it's energetic, and it's like the law of thermodynamics, for every action there is an equal but opposite reaction, especially if it's bad, like it's like a boomerang. And it's like that with judging people too, and judging behavior, it's like you have to be careful that it's like what David teaches. It's Bible, that you want to be careful about judging. But yeah, to your point, it's like when you're around people who are doing bad things, you're gonna get some on you. Yeah, if you're not careful, right?
Yeah. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you.
Discipline and order, guys.
There you go.
Discipline and orders. That's everything. This is the number 2 law of the universe. If it's not order, cannot be discipline. If it's not discipline, cannot be order. You have the free choice. If you watch yourself and you ask yourself, what I'm doing now, gonna help me to reach where I wanted? Yes and no. And everything is a choice. By the time when you wake up until you go to sleep, everything is your choice. You can wake up and go to restroom and pee, or you can be yourself. It's your choice. Nobody can force you to do nothing.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. Jorge, I think you wanted to share something.
Yeah, I did. It's reminds me of there's a saying we have in Puerto Rico that kind of goes like this. Tell me who your friends are and I will tell you who you are. And that's something that I knew, but how do I put it? Like, it, but kind of casually, but to like get like the full like weight of what it's saying is something different. And like the thing with me is that I kept hanging out with people that were not the best, and it took me a long time for me to finally say, you know what, I'm just not gonna tolerate this. I'm just not gonna entertain them anymore. And I'm just wondering, why didn't I do it sooner? Because they were draining my energy. And I always ask myself, oh, why do I keep attracting like these people that, don't treat me with respect, that, take advantage of me or mean-spirited, etc. I'm like, this long list. I'm like, why? And the reason why is because either that's who you think you are deep down, or they're showing you what you think other people are at their absolute worst. So it took me a long time. And also, I think another thing is lack of just self-respect and self-worth. And that's why it just shows up that way. And, you know, recently, I've just been starting to take David's advice about, try to find happiness on your own. And the more I'm doing that, the more I'm like, wow, like now I'm thinking clearly. I'm like feeling clearly for the first time in a long, long time. And I'm just glad that I finally got around to doing it, because I just felt miserable. You gotta be able to, like, at least as best you can, because I mean, it's like there's a person on YouTube called Thigh Skips, and she talks about relationships and how, like, you know, the dynamics, whatever. And she's like, you cannot be 100% independent, because that's not impossible. That's just impossible. It just can't happen. But you can't like depend 100% on people, because they're not going to be there all the time. So the best is, look, just do 50-50. You do the best you can to meet your own needs, and you have to find people that will at least do their best to fill the other half. Because we're social creatures. We're not like, you know, we can't do everything solo. Like, there's nothing, we have to get help. But at the same time, I'd be like, look, you gotta be my friend. And if you're not gonna be there, at least it has to be for a very good reason, like something out of your control. I can forgive that. But if you're gonna keep treating me like crud, you know, disrespecting me, etc., then why should I put up with you? And that was the lesson I had to learn. So that's all I had to say.
Ryan.
Yeah, I forgot something, man. You were talking about like how during like if you're in a treatment facility that they beat you up, like they do that in the Philippines, man. Like they had something called Zumba or Die for real. Like they would like there's the previous president of the Philippines, Rodrigo Duterte, like he would Zumba or die. Like if you're trafficking drugs or you're taking drugs, or if you're even nearby it and they think that you were, like they get you, and part of their treatment is beating the crap out of you and then exercising you, and until you can't exercise anymore. And it's crazy programming, right? It's like not very not very kind or therapeutic. Anyway.
Well, it's a reason why they do that. Because think about this. It's not something what's going on in the day-to-day. Right? So they have to give you a shock, something like you're never gonna forget. That's one, and that's the way what they find it, to give you that big shock to make your mind to change. Either way, to say like, I don't want this pain anymore, and I will do everything what I have to do. It's like in art, okay? If you go in the let's say for religion, okay? From 100 people, it's left 10. From that 10 people, it's left 1. And it's a lot of pain over there. So most of them, they don't even survive. So that's the thing. They push you to make your mind, doesn't matter what, you're going to survive, and you come back and you finish your job. That's the special forces, if I can say like that. That's the thing. But you have to go a little bit. Let's say, let me ask you this. What do we see in the movies, in the shows, TV, news, everything? What do we see from the last 40, 50 years. What do you see every single day on the TV? Gangs, weapons, drugs, alcohol, smoking. How many big name of movie or something like that you see making like a big advertise to that movies about meditation, about good stuff? Nothing, just drama, 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 drama. Why? Because like that you're gonna have your energy low. You're gonna feel like you have no, you can't do it yourself. Okay, you don't know where to go. You don't know what to do. You don't ask yourself what I supposed to do. That's the reason why so many people they cannot stay by themselves. They have to have somebody, either way to talk, either way to have a party. They cannot be by themselves alone in a room. They have to hear radio. They have to hear something. That thing is from the young age. Like you started that from child time, from 6 years old. You keep doing, and whatever what you see to your parents or to your family or to your neighbors, sometimes just keep in mind this. You hear a neighbor beating his wife and yelling, the whole building know what's going on. You're 6 years old. You don't see this thing in your family, but you hear it. So that thing, it make a big impact on you because nobody know to explain you what's going on or why it's going on. And most of the time when it's drinking and beating wife, husbands, whatever, is the frustration and they don't know to explain themselves. They don't know what you have to do. So you have to go long term, okay? So if you're in the 50, so think about this, you have at least 40 years for these programs on you. You cannot do it in one day or in 1 month or in 1 year. This is a lifetime. It's every single day you're gonna evolve, you're gonna go more up, more up. That's the thing, you see, they take the kids on monks, yeah, on Tibet. They bring the kids, the parents bring the kids to the monks at 3 years old. After 3 years old, they're too old to get in the Shaolin or in all the good stuff because they don't have that programs. They are poor or something like that, or bad stuff. They don't see TV. I tell you, I stopped watching TV and radio, listen radio for more than 7 years. It's a very good thing. So we have to go a little bit deep to see what's going on. And and now because we know, we have to ask all the time, this, if I will do this, it's gonna help me to reach to my goal. What's gonna happen? And if you take a bad choice, that's fine. You change the choice. You take a different path. It's not big deal. But it's that thing, oh, what people are gonna say about me. Who cares what the people are gonna say about you? Don't do bad stuff and keep going. Everybody make mistakes. But you're mature enough to understand you have to change something, because if you're doing the same thing every single day, never gonna change something. You have to start from someplace. Too much, too long.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, my friends. Rose said something. I just saw a video that Facebook back in 2012, and probably still to this day, in an experiment that they exposed people to positive or negative news. People have more positive posts if they saw positive news. People who had negative posts were exposed to negative news. Well, yeah, I think that's part of the programming. And And something that Daniel was also saying, no, he stopped watching news and believing, because that's something that we have to really be careful what we are consuming. And there's this exercise that I'll advise you to do if you're a little bit skeptic about if they're really trying to control or thinking and everything. Do this search on Google. You can write down who's the owner of CNN or NBC or Fox News, and then it might show you maybe another how do you say this? Another corporation. Then you ask who's the owner of this corporation, and you're gonna be surprised. Also, if you write who's the owner of Kellogg's, for saying something, or who's the owner of Nature's Valley, or things like that. And then at the end, you're going to realize that, for example, BlackRock controls many things, that financial thing. And BlackRock has their own secret people, well, things like that. So that's something that when I did this small research, I was like, oh my God. So 5 families, 6 families, 11 families in the world are controlling information and food. So maybe they are doing things for their own benefit, not for us. But well, that's something just to have in mind. I don't want to become a conspiracy theorist right now, but things are out there.
Yeah, it's a fact, man. Like BlackRock, State Street, like there's a whole lot of companies that control a whole lot. And yeah, it's creepy, right?
It is.
And it used to be when corporations would get too big, like they would antitrust bust them, but that hasn't happened.
No.
Okay, so I have a couple of things to add on to that real quick. So the reason why I posted that about the Facebook thing is just to point out the obvious pendulum that you can see from that, just that one experiment that they did. It wasn't because I know they're, trying to control us and give our attention to them, right? I mean, they're a pendulum as well, if you want to look at it that way. The other thing I want to say, though, that Roger brought up about the antitrust thing, if you actually do research into that, they were doing that so that they could experiment on how to control the court system and how to get away with things. So they weren't doing it to make it better for people. They were experimenting to see what could hold up in court and what couldn't hold up in court, and then have their friends sue each other on purpose so that they could test what laws they could bend and what laws they couldn't bend. So that's why the whole antitrust thing came about. It wasn't for the public safety at all. Just a side note.
Thank you. Oh my God. It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. Even when you are, for example, again, I'm going to talk about Rome real quick. When Rome was controlling a state, they used to call it their client state. So the state wasn't really controlled by Rome, in words, because they have their own government system. In this, what I'm going to tell you is going to sound like US, like the US is doing, in what the Brits did a long time ago, in Spaniards and many other conquerors. This place, how do you call Egypt? So Rome used to put their own people. Oh yeah, I like this guy, so that guy is going to win the elections. Similar to what happened to Venezuela right now. But anyway, I don't want to get in politics. But thank you for sharing, guys. One last thing that I have right here prepared for you is this quiz. Is this little quiz? We have 10 questions right here. So I would like somebody to help me read one, and maybe another one, or somebody wants to share something. How do you like? How do you guys like this exercise? You want to do it?
Yeah, I like to do it.
All right. So who wants
sure.
to? Thank you. Who wants to read number one?
I'll do it.
All right.
Mastering the simulation. 1, identity and promises, the law of discipline. The integrity audit. David says the simulation reacts when you keep promises to yourself. What is one specific promise you've repeatedly broken to yourself, and what is the must-do action you will take tomorrow to restore that integrity? I guess for me, this one would be like, I need to study. I need to catch up with some work from college. And it's not that I'm not doing anything else necessarily. It's that I just keep doing other things instead, like, you know, putting time into my YouTube channel, going to the gym. I mean, it's not like I'm not, 100% not doing anything. I'm not being unproductive, but I just feel like I keep making excuses, and it has to stop. Like I remember I took a few exams a few weeks ago, and I was like, literally the 3 or so days before those exams, just basically the entire day glued to the books, learning as much as I can. But it's like, I don't have to do it like that. I could just read a little bit, let my brain absorb the information, and then, slowly but surely, without, cramming it all, burn myself out. But I keep doing that, So I gotta be like, at least start small somewhere. So that's the thing for me.
Thank you. Am I muted? No, I'm not muted. Thank you. Who wants to go for number 2?
I can't do that. I'm driving.
Okay, yeah, don't worry, man.
Okay, yeah, I'll do it, James.
Thank you.
Identity shift versus visualization. If you were to skip all visualization and only rely on your daily actions, would your current routine prove to the subconscious mind that you are already a high level success, or is it still reflecting the out version of you?
That's a good one. What do you think, man?
Yes, I think so. Identity shift versus visualization. I never really thought of it like that, but yeah, I think if you skip the visualization, because they've said that I've read that if you do visualization, if you think about visualization, they were saying like regards exercise, for example, and if you visualize, then that helps, say, like in muscle building or different things. If you see the action as you're doing it, then that helps you produce that action and turn that action into reality. And I've done a lot of this, again, in the 70s and 80s, when learning things, tape recordings, suggestions and affirmations, and visualizing things and listening to things as I sleep or go off to sleep. This types of things I was doing. I don't know where I got it to or learned it to, but I used to do this in the 70s, and I found it worked very effectively.
Nice. Yeah. Thank you, man. It's really nice.
Welcome.
And
Well,
this one, the identity shift, that's something that we have to answer ourselves. Okay, so if you quit this course, if you stop doing whatever David is telling us, if you close your school account, what's going to be left for you? Your old version, or you are really getting all this knowledge and doing the shift? That's something that we have to really integrate into our lives. Because if we are only relying on yeah, because I'm on the community and this and that, and you're going soft, be careful. We have to be careful.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard without support, because if you get support, if you're not doing it in the first place, then you come into a group like this or organization like this, you get the support, you got a group around you, and it's always better, I think, to do it as a group than to try and do it on your own. But then when that support disappears, then I think slowly but surely, then you go back into your old habits. It might take like a month, 6 months, but I think slowly, saying, I was thinking, in the week, a leopard never changes his spots. And I think if you like that type of thing, you drop into that trap, that if you're not supported, then slowly you go back into what you were before. So it takes effort to do that if you haven't got support around you. This thing about doing things like that, again, this ties back a lot of things that David does in this group. And I've only found it really in this group that was very similar to things I was doing in the 80s, that you do things, and if you said you be somewhere and do something, you do it. If you say, I'll turn up on course at 7 o'clock, you were there. I mean, when I was doing my studies, it was very much the same as I'm doing now. We were doing 7 till 10:30 in the evenings. Then Saturday and Sunday, it was like 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. And that was like my kind of schedule. When I was there, that was my schedule. That's what I used to do. All day Saturday, all day Sunday, and then Monday to Friday in the evenings, 7 o'clock till 10:30. And that was 7 days a week. And I'd done that every day, virtually every day, 7 days a week from 1980 right up to 1985.
Nice. Nice.
So my
That's
schedule then was very much the same as it is now. That if I say I do something, I think 90% of the time I done it. Not always, but 90% of the time, if I thought I could do it, I would do it, because we were encouraged to do that. That if you said you do something, you do something. And if you say you'll be there, you will be there.
That's nice. That's discipline. That's a self concept that you created. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yes, man.
Thank you. I share with you on the chat the link to this questionnaire. So if you want to download it, have it to yourself, well, you have the access. Who wants to go for number 3? I think somebody wanted to say something. No? Okay. Who wants to read number 3?
I can read it.
Thank you. Thank you.
The 5-minute rule. Andrew Carnegie became a billionaire by holding 5 minutes. How often does your mind flutter like a butterfly toward 3D distractions, and what specific anchor, like counting $100 bills, will you use to reclaim your focus?
What would you do, Rose?
For me, it's different, and I don't know if other people can relate to this, but it's more in my body that I focus in when I want to calm my mind. Not so much of like redirecting my thoughts, but actually like physically relaxing my body and like taking deep breaths, and maybe some somatic release if needed. That's been very helpful into like, because a lot of the energy gets stuck in our body. That's why I think it's important for us to remember that our body physically needs us to calm down so that our mind can actually calm down. So that's more of an anchor for me, is like physically calming the body and the nerves.
Okay. Nice.
Yes, the breathing when you get distracted. Breathe very deep at least 3 times. That is gonna put your very deep. I mean, take the air in your body, in your lungs. Do it right from the stomach and then the lungs. And breathe at least 3 times. When you kind of feel you get a little bit dizzy, that is mean you change your state of the body. you switch it, and you see you can focus again.
Thank you, Daniel. Yeah, good technique right there. Thank you. All right, nice. Yeah, in my case, I don't know, I might be, well, I can do the leaf exercise to refocus. I like counting bills. Um, when I'm doing the leaf exercise, I like to play around, and then when I'm really deep focus, I can see myself walking around and playing with the water, and then looking at the pond. Well, not the pond, at the lake, because I don't like ponds. So I'm thinking about a lake, not a pond. And then I see my reflection, and then I see leaves coming to my to touching my body and things like that. And yeah, I like to do different kind of things to refocus, and also breathing. And other thing that I like to do is work out. You know, I like to disconnect, and I'm that kind of person who goes to the gym. I hardly talk to people. I hardly talk to people, and people come to me, hey, you want to work out with me? I'm like, no, thank you, because I'm just doing something for my inner. I'm not going to the gym to be social. I don't care being social. I like to be social here, but not in the gym. Who wants to read number 4?
I can read it again. The ownership test. When you imagine your goal, are you counting someone else's money, observing it from the outside? Or are you counting it at your own table? Feeling the present ownership. How can you shift from thinking of your desire to thinking from it?
It's a good one. Basically, that's the point. Are you thinking from it or on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of
Okay.
us struggle with this one. So, because I mean, if we weren't struggling, we wouldn't be here discussing this right now. How do you think from it? So incorporating not just the visualization, from the first perspective, and like kind of uploading that through your, what they call the plate or the plat, whatever. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but the plat in the back of your head, there's like a energy
Okay.
module, and you can feel like you're literally uploading it into the back of your head like a slide. So it's like, and your eyes are like like you're projecting the movie and trying to see it from the first point of view when you're visualizing. But it's not just that, it's also that you want to incorporate the smell, the sounds that you would be hearing, the texture of whatever you're touching, the feeling that you would be having, relief or joy or appreciation. So I mean, you can go into a lot of details of actually how to like really focus in and create, not just with visualization, but like with the other techniques. For example, I created a trip to Hawaii, and what I did is I cheated, or quote unquote cheated, but it's not really cheating. I put ocean noises on, specifically from which bay I wanted to, or which beach I wanted to go to in Hawaii. I tried to find which specific beach I wanted to go to. Went on YouTube, found it, and I said, okay, that's an amazing beach. I want to go there one day. And I played that in the background of my meditation and visualization. I acted like I could smell the salt water, and I also acted like I could hear the birds and hear the way, I was hearing the waves obviously from the soundtrack, and feeling my feet in the sand. So
Yeah. That's nice. I don't think that's cheating. There's an exercise that I share with you guys the other day, and I don't know if you remember. I was telling you, okay, do this exercise. Think if you want, let's if you can, if you're able, you're not driving, or maybe you can do it, but don't close your eyes. So close your eyes and think about something from your past. Try to remember something from yesterday. But what I want you to do is to see that that thing that you're remembering. Do you feel it's coming from above, from below, from your left part? Where do you feel it's coming? Where do you see it? Like you see it on top of your head? You see it below? Where do you see it? Now, think about something in the present. For example, right now, just focus on what we're doing right now. Do you feel it like in front of you when you close your eyes, or when you are trying to focus on this? You feel it like in front of you? Where do you feel it? And the last one is think about something from the future. When you are thinking about what do you have to do tomorrow or later today, do you feel it's maybe in your right side, your left side, up, down? Where do you feel it? Okay. Somebody was able to do it, to recognize something that I was telling you?
Yes.
Okay. So the point here is, if you, for example, in my case, when I'm thinking about what I did yesterday, I can feel it right here, like something right here. I don't know, for some reason, like something here. If I'm talking and I'm just focusing on my respiration and what I'm doing right now and everything, I can see it like right here. And if I'm thinking about the future, it's more like somewhere here. So the point is, when you find where is your past coming from, just try now, instead of doing the whatever you want to accomplish, instead of doing it here in this side or in the side of the future, try to focus it on the side of the past. Make sense?
Yeah, that very much makes sense. When you were saying that, again, it ties back to what I was doing back in the 80s. This is very similar. And an exercise they used to give us, I've done many, many times, right? You sit in a room, close your eyes, and imagine the top corners of the room. Top left, top right, back of the head, left and right, lower left, in front of you, left and right, and lower left and right of the corner behind you. And say, is it in front of you or behind you? And when I used to watch a quiz, it's a quiz, what I watch in quizzes, and they say they're hitting counters. And they say, I want to go from the left, I want the right, I want the right-hand counter or the left-hand counter. And when I imagine it, I say, when they say the right, I think it's the left. And when they say it's the left, I think it's the right. Because when they're watching the board is in front of them. And when I imagine the board, I imagine the board is behind me. So their left is my right, and my right is their left. And I have found this works when I watch a quiz, because I just automatically reverse it. So when I see the past and the future, I imagine like I'm in the center of a tornado, in the middle of a tornado, and I'm stood in the middle of a tornado, and that's whizzing around me. So the past and the future is all together. Because I don't separate the past and the future as in front of me or behind me. Does that make sense?
Yes. That's something to have in mind, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like have it in everything. Well, yeah, at the same time, it's not past, it's not future, it's only the present moment. But yeah, makes sense. Nice. Thank you, Terence.
Hey, thanks. Welcome.
Yeah, that's why I liked you to participate, because I know you were practicing many awesome things in the past. So this is really nice. Really nice.
Yeah, the things that David is saying, that's right. I like watching his recordings because it very much ties into what I was doing, and I can relate to it. It relates to Neville and what David is teaching, it all kind of ties together. And from my point of view, anyway, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, yeah, and it's good rehearsal.
Yeah,
nice.
It's like revision for me, actually. It's like doing revision from my point of view.
Nice, man. Thank you. Yeah, awesome.
Thanks. Welcome.
Can I make a proposal? Can we make a challenge?
What do you want to challenge?
Just is pass to my head something. I make a test to do the same test, but let's do it together for 30 days. The test was like this. I take two bills of 100. And I put in the top and one in the bottom. Let's say it was 30 bills together, okay, like $3,000. But just two bills, it was 100, the other is was $1, $2, $5, $10, $20. So it was just two bills, 100. Every day, I count at least once. When I pick up the bills in my hand, okay, I see the front bill was 100. I close my eyes and I start counting like it was just 100, the whole 30 bills. So it's like $3,000, okay? Then at the end, when you open your eyes, of course, it's the 100 bill on the bottom. So count that bills most of the time. I mean, how often you can. And you keep it in the pocket. After 1 week, and I touch my pocket where it was money, I know I have $3,000 over there. How about we gonna do a test for 30 days to see what's going on?
Okay, it'll be a good one. You were cutting out maybe because you're driving. If you want, can you share that to the group?
Yes, I'm gonna do a post on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Maybe I will take a picture of the bills and all that stuff because I don't have it anymore. It's not after like 7 days or something like that, I stop. So we have to do. It's a challenge. It's nothing. We have nothing to lose. Just we're gonna do some exercise of imagination, and maybe we're gonna have some nice results.
Okay. Yeah, man. Yeah, share it. Because I wasn't able to get all the points because you're kind of conning, maybe for the connection.
Yes, I'm driving.
Yeah. Okay. Don't worry. Thank you. All right, guys. I'm gonna read number 5. Reactory loops. David teaches that reacting to traumatic or negative 3D events recreates them. What is one recurring glitch or negative situation in your life that you will commit to treating with total indifference starting tomorrow? This is so crazy that I had to read this because I've been, well, I think most of us have been dealing with this, and I know what things, I call it, what things triggers me. And sometimes when I start, talking about, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, and then many things come to my mind, and my mind start thinking about lack. So this is funny. So I'm not gonna start doing it tomorrow. I'm gonna start doing it today. Okay, I'm gonna read the number 6. The 1% standard. 99% of people fail to keep their nightly written promises. In your dog training or business career, what are 3? Well, that's I mixed up this with some activity that I was doing with my trainers. What are 3 non-negotiable steps you will write down tonight that you refuse to miss tomorrow? So that's basically what David said. Write some things tonight, and just stick to it. So you have something in mind, guys? Something that you want to write down, maybe right now or maybe tonight? There you go. All right. Who wants to read number 7?
The shadow dialogue. If your inner conversations with clients, family, or the economy were broadcast on a speaker, would they sound like an invitation for abundance or a script for separation?
That's funny, right?
Yeah, that's a powerful thought there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something to have in mind. Yeah, because at the end, what we speak, it's what we feel and what we think. So
Well, and it is on a speaker. That's kind of the idea of like the egregore or the pendulum, right? Like going back to those terms or whatever you want to call it, right? So we have these thought forms that come into our heads, and they may not even belong to us. The other thing is they just might have been like out there in the ether floating around, and then we had something negative happen to us, and it's like, oh, I can attach to that person over there because they're going to feed me that negative energy. Well, it's feed me energy. It doesn't matter if it's negative or positive, right? So I guess
Yeah.
we've got to be mindful, like, we got to keep our mind sharp and guard against our minds in a lot of ways and not be susceptible to these thoughts. And like, how do we deflate them? Like, I think meditation's a great way to do that. So
Yeah.
you're deflating the energy. So now there's no energy to put into it. If you just sit and focus on your breath, you had that negative thought come in. Well, you know what? I'm not going to feed it energy, positive or negative. I'm just going to breathe and feel in my body and release anything that needs to be released.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Take care, Krista. Nice having you here.
Bye, Krista.
All right. Yeah, that's something, and sometimes that's something that we have to have in mind, because you are doing your business every day and everything, and then sometimes you get mad at, well, it happened. I'm talking about myself. I'm doing, my business, and then I'm mad for something. And I'm like, why? And we have to catch, because sometimes those aren't our feelings or thoughts. There's something called, and I think David talks about it. Oh my God, I think you know what I want to say. Thought transmission, something like that. It's called. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something to have in mind. Thought transfusion, something like that. Okay. Number 8, the inception point. At the exact moment before sleep, are you feeding the simulation a concept of self that is stressed and lacking, or are you soaking in the feeling that everything is working out perfectly? So what are you doing before you go to bed? Are you immersing yourself on the feeling that it's already done, or you're going to bed like lacking? That's SATS, basically. What are you doing on SATS? What are you doing SATS? Sometimes I can't do SATS because I'm too tired, and I'm trying to do it, and I fall asleep, and without getting control of my thoughts. And when I wake up, I'm kind of mad because I wasn't able to get a hold of that. Well, number 9, the spending frequency. Do you write checks or pay bills with a feeling of loss, or with the bold assumption that the more I spend, the more I receive? How will you change your emotional reactions to money, leaving your hands tomorrow? That's a good one. How are you reacting when you're paying something that you had to pay? That's something to have in mind, guys and gal. because sometimes, if you catch yourself like, okay, I have to pay this, and you feel pain, well, that's something. All right. Who wants to read the final decree?
I will.
Thank you.
The final decree. Knowing you only get who you are and not what you want, who are you deciding to be in this situation, starting now, that makes your success an absolute mathematical certainty? Well, I'm just going to decide that I'm just a success at everything I do. Be somebody that's responsible, somebody that, holds itself accountable. But that's like the key. Like, that's the reason why, like, it's funny, like David earlier mentioned how, there's these YouTubers and they post something every day. Well, I just started my YouTube channel. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe I should take notes of that, or at the very least,
yeah,
it's consistent, that's the key, consistency, because I mean, I can't, like, I just cannot live stream all the time. Like, I think that will burn me out a bit. I think 4 days is good enough, but the point is, just be consistent, because I have run into people that sometimes will do a live stream as well, but it doesn't have to be like a bloody contest. You just simply, if you're consistent, and if you are cultivating that energy, that charisma, that thing that makes you unique from everybody else, then I think that really is the key to it.
It is.
Yeah, so just by being consistent with a schedule, even if whether it's every day or at least a few days, that's what works. That's like the key. So, and heck, I don't have to because I got like so many things going on. I got a TikTok, I got an Instagram, I got a Twitter. It's like I don't have to post like a super long video. I could maybe one day I do a short, maybe another day I'll post pictures, or maybe just mix things up a little.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. That's a good one. That's a good thing to remind ourselves. Who are we being in this simulation? Is it the person that you want to be, or is just some old concept? But I'm pretty sure everybody here is doing something different, so that's why we are here in this community. So that's really awesome, my friends. All right, guys. All right. How did you like this live? It was a little bit longer, but how do you feel? Do you like it?
I really enjoyed it, James. It was a good one. Really enjoyed it. I wasn't even sure if you was on today. I was looking for the link, and I seen the link just before you came on. So that's why I was a bit late joining. Because I couldn't see the link. I thought perhaps you wasn't on. But I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was time well spent. Well done, man. It was a good job.
Nice. Glad you like it, Aaron. Well, it was. This is something that we made together. So yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, I have a question for you. Since it was longer than most of the other ones left. Do you want to keep on with 3 days, or you prefer to do it 2 days, the study group?
3 days is okay for me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I like the 3-day schedule.
3 days, I guess, is good. Just let's put like this, guys. We are here. I'm not for a long time with you on the group, okay? But we do everything to be here. This is discipline. We build up something, and we keep going like this. We're gonna do the discipline and the showing up every day, we change something on us. So I guess the longer, the often, the better. That's my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I was asking you because, for example, we still have 2 days with David and everything. I don't know how the dynamic of his lives are going to be when he's back home. Maybe he returns to 3 weeks lives. I don't know, but yeah, I was telling you that because Krista told me that she felt that it was too much, but I think she felt it because 3 days with us and then 2 days with David. So basically, the whole week we are busy doing this, but it's just a couple of moments. So yeah, what do you think, Rose? Are you able to speak?
I'm sorry, could you ask me again? Sorry. I'm like stuffing my face right now.
Um, how do you feel with the study with 3 days of the study group, or would you prefer 2 days?
I think 2 days is good for me.
Nice, very nice. So I think we have a balance. We have to figure out what to do. But yeah, in the meantime, let's keep on with what we are doing. Maybe let's see what happens when David returns home. Like I was telling you, many things are going to change, and we'll see. Let's see what's going on, and then we decided if we do 3 or 2. Is it okay for you guys?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
keep up as we're doing it at the moment to see how it pans out. If people stick around, they enjoy it. If they drop off, then no. So see what happens, I think.
Yeah, because sometimes I've seen people that they join Wednesdays. I see people that some of you join every day, and some people join only Fridays. For example, Nohelu, I've seen her joining mostly Fridays, and I don't know. Everybody's schedule is kind of crazy, but okay. So let's do this, my friends. Glad. I'm glad for you for being here. Grateful, so grateful. Thank you, and we'll see each other on Monday.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
All right.
You take care, Matt.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Guys.